making people, socially engineered people, point the finger and say, oh, you're just one of those conspiracy theorists. And then it puts you in this little box. And then they divide and conquer, divide and conquer. So the division here is they get people to label themselves. Oh, I'm a blank, so I'm an anti-vaxxer, or I'm a GMO activist. Okay, the way that I see it is truth is like pregnancy. You can't be half pregnant. Okay? Like if you're a truther, just like you said, you try to just get it all out there. You don't really accept the labels. Truth is a full commitment. You can't just be anti-fluoride and turn a blind eye to climate engineering. It's all being done by the same group of people. We are all being targeted. We, okay? And only together and united can we do anything. Okay? So this limited divisiveness, it's not going to get us anywhere. And then also in the movements, and I hate to say this because it's a little fear-mongering and whatnot, there are controlled opposers. Okay? These people are planted in movements to create division and arguments and chaos, and honestly, I can see right through it. I see right through it, but I'm not in the position of calling people out. I'm not in the position of feeding that, okay? But what happens is they get two little camps of people, and then when it's time to get them arguing, they get them bickering with one another about something completely pointless. And then it's to create this division within the divided group. So you've got the division, and then they start just splitting you up, pick a side, pick a side, pick a side, pick a side. But both these sides are controlled, and they're bickering over nothing, you know? But it's just causing this confusion and this chaos where people who are coming in new, they're just confused. They don't know what side to pick, and ultimately they don't want to deal with the drama, and they pull away.
Yeah, no, that's it. And it's in all the groups. You see crazy stuff in all of them, and I don't subscribe to any of them. I look at things, as I said, very objectively. So let's say the Flat Earth community. That's massive right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of people who are causing infighting in that group, when in reality these folks are just trying to challenge the mainstream notion of their worldview, basically, is what it is. And you know, there's evidence for certain things and evidence against certain things, but you see the infiltrators. They're just trying to keep everybody stirred up and distracted so nothing gets accomplished. I see it in the UFO groups. You know, the same thing. You have no idea. And then, of course, you always have these icons, these little celebrities out there that goodness only knows if they're for real and what's really behind them, that are injecting information out there. And, you know, a lot of it, there's no basis for it. I've tried to look into a lot of the stuff, and I can't find where it originally comes from. And, you know, the same thing is happening with the chemtrails groups and everything else. So, and I know you've come across that. So if you have any personal experience you want to share with that, that'd be cool to hear about.
I have a lot of personal experiences. I will share, well, yeah, I did just share some of it. Well, I will share one thing. It seems like you have to just go into it with an open heart. That's all you can do. And although they want you to trust no one, you just have to trust everyone. You know? Because you get, like, you've got all these people coming in, and 99% of them are just normal people trying to find out what's going on. And they just want the truth because they're curious. And then on top of that, you'll have a couple people that really will get close and befriend you and waste, you know, it's like these time sucks, and they really just want to get in, and then ultimately they want to press some buttons. Okay? So I will share, okay, let's do it. This will be interesting. So there's this fellow by the name of Michael J. Murphy. Michael J. Murphy, he did so much for this movement. God bless him. He made the movie What in the World Are They Spraying? He made the movie Why in the World Are They Spraying? Okay? I invited him to speak at the Global Chemtrail Summit last year in Vancouver. We became buddies. Okay? I've become friends with everybody who wants to help in this movement or seems to want to help in the movement. And Upon speaking with Michael J. Murphy and meeting him in person, I questioned where his heart was in it, but I trusted him because, you know, that's just the kind of guy I am. He was supposed to come speak in Vancouver. His name was on the lineup for quite some time. But at the end of the day, he flaked. He couldn't come. And the day after the Global Chemtrail Summit in Vancouver last year, he had a nervous breakdown. Okay, so there's a few different potentials here. Either he's under electromagnetic frequency attack. I don't buy it. That's fear-mongering. Okay. Another one is he just adopted a total drug addiction. I don't buy it. Okay. I like to give things, I'm a numbers guy, so I give things a certain percentage. And I don't mean to be divisive with this. I mean, if anybody knows, there people are following this guy. I mean, like, he's gone nuts, right? He's posting stuff about being in a FEMA camp and how he's lost the $35,000 that he raised for his third film. He went up in a plane, filmed himself in a plane, getting aerosol samples, and then this guy just totally falls apart. Okay? Now, where am I going with this? It's my contention that he was planted the entire time. And it's sad, okay? And then, you know, I'm being divisive and all this stuff. Well, he's off the radar now. So all he's doing is bringing the movement down if you're following him. And he's posting these crazy, I mean, he's been crazy for a year now. Just completely nuts. And the only people that are really following him they're just doing it for entertainment now. But, I mean, that's like the big example, okay? And I may be jumping to conclusions, and I'm sorry if you're friends with him. But, you know, the proof is in the pudding. Right?
Well, Matt, let's look at that objectively. A few things could have happened with this individual.
Mm-hmm.
One, he was always a plant. He was put there to do a really good job at first, get people talking about this, and then destroy it as much as he possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Two, he started off good and did get into some hard times. And, you know, whether that's drug use or whatever happens to be, people get into alcohol, drugs, whatever, that happens. Three, there could be the possibility that they got to him. You know, the evil they, the people behind the scenes, however you want to word that. He was doing a really great job. I've seen both those films. They're both really good, and I'm sure you agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he got threatened. I mean, it happened to Ross Perot back in the 90s when he was running for president. He was doing really well. He wanted to be president. He wanted to do a good thing, and they threatened his family outright, and he admitted to that later, you know? So that's the way I view the whole thing with him, that I see those as the three most logical possibilities.
Yeah, it's one of those threes. And I don't mean to talk him or anything. It's just...
We're not, man. We're just talking about facts.
We're just talking about the movement.
Yes.
And the movement got once it had traction a few years ago, it got split up. It seems like every time there's some momentum, it gets targeted. So regardless of it all, regardless of if this gentleman adopted a drug addiction that was very timely. See, the way that I see it all is they have this agenda. Their plan was to announce solar geoengineering this year, and that they're going to use it to save us. So what cards do they have? Well, whatever cards that they did have, they played them. They want to break up this movement so that they can push their agenda, break up the movement so they can push their agenda. What is their agenda? Full-scale deployment of solar geoengineering. Well, it's unfortunate that we lost him as an activist. I'm not going anywhere. This is my life. And that's all I can really speak to. So, you know, I don't know why I brought him up, and I kind of, you know, I had to clear the air with that at least. I mean, like, and if he got addicted to drugs, then, he had the obligation to be the person that was carrying that flame. He shouldn't have gotten into drugs. Let's talk about something else.
Absolutely. And the reason why I actually wanted to discuss that is because you do see this in the movements, and people have to look out for these things. That doesn't mean that the movement itself is bad. The information is not good or bad. Information is information, and it is up to you to do your own homework and make your own decisions. I'm sure you would agree with that. So I have a big problem when you start getting these celebrities and icons in different movements, because then it starts becoming about the person instead of the information. And, everyone has an ego to one degree or another. Some people have theirs in check and some people do not. I've had good and bad experiences with that. Some of the people in the truth movement get to be so big, they're like rock stars in their own right. And, that starts interfering with the overall job of what we're trying to do. What are we trying to do? We're trying to get information out there to help everybody. I mean, especially when you're talking about something like this geoengineering problem. They're messing with the place we live on, and we can't seem to do a damned thing about it. They're going to spray stuff in our skies. We kind of have an idea now what it is, but we're still not 100% certain. I've always been suspicious that it's a binary or more weapon, that they're putting stuff there, but it could be coupling with stuff that's in the food, in the water, in the vaccines, all those things. They all together work against us, in my opinion. You can see it. You can see the dumbing down of society. It's getting much, much worse.